This is Master Your Mindset with Coach Mark.
Hey guys, what is going on, my people? And welcome back to another episode of Master Your Mindset with Coach Mark. Today we are going to talk about sacrifice. We're going to talk about sacrifice. So really my promise for you is by the end of this podcast, I'm going to show you how to stop feeling like sacrificing yourself as the leader is the right thing for you to do. So that way you can actually get out of your own way and reach your full potential. Here's the thing that I also thought about too when I was putting together this podcast was like so many times we don't realize it, but when we lead this way where we feel like we need to sacrifice ourselves in order to succeed, we literally are teaching other future leaders that they need to do the same thing. We're like inappropriately getting them to think that that's just what success looks like. And so not only does it do us and our goals a disservice, like you'll find about today, but it also does a disservice to other people. So really, this isn't a thing about you being selfish in order to like really achieve your goals. It's because you want to make sure that you are planting the seeds for the future leaders to come up and without having that mindset that they have to literally burn themselves into the ground, all right? So maybe you're like me, which I used to have this belief that really the success, like the road to success was paved through sacrifice. Like you needed to sacrifice yourself. For some reason, I actually had this belief. I didn't even realize it was there. Like I had this belief that if I sacrificed myself, it made me a better person. Only that doesn't make any sense at all. When you're sacrificing yourself and you're making yourself be the martyr, you're actually not showing up as the person that you want to show up, because you're literally sacrificing what is most important to you. And you might have these goals. I'm going to ask you some questions today to really pull these goals out. But you might have some goals that are actually not even in congruence with you sacrificing yourself, all right? So here's the thing. I want to set the precedent today. I want you to understand that this is not the road to success. Sacrificing yourself, your health, your family, in order for you to achieve something else will have you get to that point where you do achieve it, but have nothing in the process or nothing like anything that you can even celebrate that thing with, right? You'll be able to accomplish that thing, but it'll be at the results of something else, all right? So today I want to attack this from a slightly different angle. And normally in my life coach certification, I really like to attack our limiting beliefs by finding news stories, by finding our heart voice and really getting pulled in that direction. So that way you can start to reframe things that are kind of happening. But I want to take a little bit different of an approach today because what a lot of people don't realize is the opposite of negativity is not positivity. So the opposite of negativity is not positivity when it comes to this, when it comes to your limiting beliefs. The opposite of negativity is logic. It's logic, because when we think about taking a negative thing like I'm not good enough or I need to sacrifice myself, and we think about immediately flipping it over into like a very positive thing, there's going to be situations that, depending on you as a person and depends on the situation you're going through, that you don't want to just flip it around. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like you can't go from I'm not confident to I'm super confident in my abilities. It's not possible like to even do that. And it's not even helpful. But what you can do is you can attack it with logic. Because a lot of times when you look at your limiting beliefs, they make zero sense. Not a lot of times, but all the time, they make no sense. We can always find situations when the opposite of what we believe in that moment is true too. And when you do that, you punch holes in your limiting belief. And that gives you the ability of actually opening the door for your actual real belief, a new belief to come in there to really set you up for success, all right? Now, what I want you to do is I want to ask you a series of questions here, all right? And I really want you to, if you have a piece of paper or a pen, like brainstorm this. If you're just driving, that's cool. I want you to really think about this and even pause this podcast, because I'm not going to pause it as we kind of go. I don't want this to be an hour podcast, but I want to ask you some questions, all right, that are going to help you identify logically how a belief that you have in an area you're struggling with right now is just not helpful at all, okay? So right now I want you to focus on an area where you feel like you're sacrificing in order to achieve a goal. So think about an area of your life that you're sacrificing in order for you to achieve this goal. It could be with your business. Maybe you want a big business. It could be with your health. It could be with your family. It could be with your work. And you have a big goal there, and so you feel like you have to sacrifice these other things, all right? I want to ask you, what is it that you truly want to accomplish in that area? So if you have a really big business, like what is it you want to be able to achieve, all right? What would achieving that do for you? Like what would be the fruits of that actual goal if you were to hit it? If you were to fast forward to the point where you did hit it 6 months or a year from now, what was it able to do for you? What was it able to do for your family? What was it able to create in the world that hasn't been created yet right now? What would it make possible that isn't even possible right now? All right. Now, I want you to think of whatever area you're feeling like you need to sacrifice yourself that you're sacrificing yourself as a result of heading towards this specific goal. All right. Now, I want you to ask yourself, is sacrificing yourself in alignment with that specific goal? Let me give an example, right? Like, let's say you want to have a successful business, right? And what you're doing is you're working your business because you want to create more freedom. You want to be able to take your family places. You want to be able to help and impact more people who are struggling, maybe who are like in that spot themselves right now, and you have the answer for them, right? So you want to create this massive business. Well, would it make sense to sacrifice your family or for your health in order for you to achieve this goal? Because sometimes that goal requires us to have our health and requires us to have our family to be able to experience it. So really thinking about this logically, like, okay, this is the goal that I actually want to achieve, and this is what I feel like I need to sacrifice in order to get there. However, when I think about that, sacrificing those things and fast forwarding to the end when I was able to achieve this specific goal, like, will it be worth it if I've had to sacrifice these other areas? Now, I know some people think like, hey, this is just a season of my life. There's just some things that you have to sacrifice. Not the case. Not the case at all. There's always a way that you could take more time from a specific area as long as you can be even more intentional for that time when you do have it. Example would be family. Like, let's say there's going to be seasons that maybe you're going to not spend as much time with your family, but how can you, in that time that you have, make an even more memorable experience? Make it even better, right? Be more specific about what you're doing in that specific moment, the time that you're spending with them, to make it feel like even better than when you had more time with it. It's a possibility, and it doesn't have to do with you sacrificing. It's a way of you becoming more creative around creating those results for you, rather than just saying, okay, I got to slosh on my family time. This is what I have to do to put food on the table and put a house over them, right? That is never the case at all. It doesn't have to be with sacrifice. I know a lot of people really believe that, and so they live their entire life like that. But let me tell you, from being somebody who used to do that, the opposite is true too. When you're open to like finding that creativity inside of yourself to find those answers, you will find them if you're right in the right environment, all right? Now, what I kind of talked about today is just a little bit of this philosophy of be, do, and have. Be, do, and have. Most people have it in reverse. They feel like they have to have the time, and once they have the time, then they'll be able to take those actions, and when they take those actions, they'll have a successful business. That's not how it works. How it works is you need to become that type of person right now. So becoming the type of person that can excel in business while also being incredible parents, while also taking care of their health. What were some of the things that you would be doing when you actually are that person, right, who just naturally owns $1 million business, has an incredible connection, and has amazing health? What are some of those things that you would be doing? And then you bring it into this moment right now. So you first you become that person. And if you can't become that person, you at least believe that you're that person. You do those actions that you'd be doing when you achieve that specific goal, and then you get to have that specific goal. So instead of flipping it in reverse and saying, I need the time, I need the energy, I need all this stuff first, you flip it and you think about, okay, what do I need to become in that process? And logically, you will see that it doesn't make sense for you to sacrifice those things when in fact, most of the time, the things we're sacrificing are the things that we're looking to improve by achieving this goal. But if we have to wait until we achieve this goal in order to spend more time with our family, in order to take care of our health, in order to do that, how do you know you're even going to have that possibility when you get there? Sometimes things are taken away from us, and instead we need to think about that right now. How could I continue to grow my business? How could I continue to take it to the next level over here without sacrificing the areas that are most important to me? All right. So how could you have both? This is a resounding thing. This is something that I use, and almost every single one of the coaching sessions that I do is like, when somebody gives me an or situation, I ask them, well, how could you do both? How could you excel in both? How can you succeed in both? And it's amazing when you've never thought of that before. just the thoughts that pop into your mind, because you know what? There's possibilities. Not that I have the answers for you, but what I can do is ask you questions that will literally open the door to your possibilities, and then you will go out there and find them. And it is so powerful when you guys are able to do that on your own rather than being told what to do all the time, all right? Now, I do want to end with this, all right? I'm not saying this doesn't mean that you don't work hard. I'm not saying that this means that you don't hustle. I'm saying that in that moment, when it's time for your business, you go all in with business. But when it's time for your family, you go all in with family. When it's time for your personal health, you go all in with that. And when you're intentional and when you're in those specific things, you never have to sacrifice in order to achieve them, okay? Now let's end this out with another Monday quote to really wrap this up, all right? Leaders know their physical and mental health makes all of the other things they create possible. So leaders know that their physical and mental health makes all the other things they create possible. They never sacrifice their physical or mental health in order for them to achieve something, because otherwise when they achieve it, they'll have nothing to build off of. All right, guys, I greatly appreciate you for listening to another episode. This one might have been a little bit more intense. It might have rubbed you the wrong way. And if it does, I am so glad that you made it here to the end, because you need to hear it more than most. I know a lot of times when I learn things, when I hear things and it kind of it hits me like a ton of bricks, those are the things that I needed to hear the most. So take some action on what we talked about here today. Don't sacrifice yourself. And if you guys need any help with this, reach out. Go to mindsetwithmark.com/discovery, and I'll be able to help and connect you guys with a way or a system to really help you blast through. All right. You guys have an incredible, incredible week, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye, everybody.